Nigeria's power challenges are complex, with key issues including inadequate generation, transmission losses, insufficient infrastructure, fuel supply challenges, funding constraints, regulatory inefficiencies, and corruption. Decades of neglect, lack of coordination, and security challenges have caused power outages, economic stagnation, and reduced quality of life. Will Nigeria ever attain her full potential in the electricity sector and energy in general? This is the Eastern Eye. I am Alex Obodo. You're welcome to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV. It's a program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. Tonight, I'm joined by Professor Chijioke Owasamba. He's a scholar and public policy analyst. Thank you so much, Professor Owasamba, for joining me tonight on the Eastern Eye.
Thank you, Alex. It's a pleasure.
All right, great. So I guess that some of the key issues would be, what is wrong with Nigeria's electricity sector? The grid, I am sure anytime there's a power outage in Nigeria, the fear is that the national grid has collapsed. I'm sure you also have that fear anytime there's a power outage. You just look out to see how dark the skyline is, whether it's the national grid again. How bad can it get? And can it get any better?
Well, Alex, it's like any other problem of Nigeria. It's like any other problem of Nigeria. Nigeria is not working, not because it doesn't have the resources. Nigeria is not working because those at the helm of affairs do not want it to work. And so the crisis in the electricity sector is like the crisis in other aspects of Nigerian life. Nothing works because our leaders don't want things to work. You remember how much was spent, the billions of dollars spent during Obasanjo's time on electricity, leading to the House Committee chaired by Elumelu, where the committee also agreed that Nigeria frittered away billions of naira on electricity during the time of Obasanjo. So each government that comes will have one thing or the other to say about electricity, about energy. And as we are speaking today, a former minister of power is alleged to have stolen over $5 billion, dollars. And the matter is in court because the EFCC is prosecuting him, Dr. Agunloye. And so there have been stories about electricity. And in Nigeria, what happens each time there is a problem, Nigeria doesn't fix its problems. What Nigeria does is to throw money at any problems. And so government has been throwing money, at the electricity problem all over the years. And each government that comes, tells the same story. Obasanjo, Yaradua, Jonathan, Buhari, and of course the current government. And so it will be a wishful thinking to think that the great thing will be resolved. One of the things to note is that Nigeria is too centralized. The centralization process we started immediately after the first coup continued up to today, making it almost impossible for certain things to work in Nigeria. We are talking about the grid because it's a centralized point. And since it's a centralized point, whatever that touches it, whether as a result of technical failure or human failure arising from sabotage and all sorts of things. And so whatever that happens to the grid will, of course, also affect the entire electricity chain in Nigeria. And that's why you will see every day, almost on a weekly basis, the grid, collapses and the country is thrown into darkness. So it would be good to be able, apart from the technical issues that are involved, we need to decentralize Nigeria. And it's only when Nigeria is decentralized that some level of efficiency, could be introduced.
So, I mean, I like the way you laid it out, and you talked about the centralization of the grid, because we remember that in the eastern region, for instance, it was the Ojiriva Thermal Power Station. That was
Ojiriva.
Yeah.
Yes, Ojiriva Power Station.
That was servicing the whole of eastern region, and by that, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, it includes the present southeast and the current south-south region. So that's what was providing power. So when you take that away and ask everybody to wait for what comes from Kainji Dam and the wind power station and Shiroro and all that, it creates a problem, because even the distance it will travel is a problem. Do you think that the country actually invested in a proper central grid system, or was it purely a political decision to have a centralized grid system?
Well, the centralized grid system perhaps might have worked, in the past, because I remember the time that you are talking about. I know some engineers who were at Ojiriva, those that were at Shiroro and Kainji, and even the Egbin Power Station. And some of these facilities are old. They have become old. The country that works will always ensure that the facilities are worked on, retooled, from time to time. But you see, in Nigeria, it is only when the problems, become difficult that attempts, are done here and there, at mitigating them. Because, these grids, these power stations, are not taken care of. Even when money is budgeted to ensure that they are put in proper, condition, you realize, that many individuals, some of the individuals who are in charge, will do away, with the resources and will come back to square one. I think that, the thing to do is that, and for those people who have been calling for restructuring, to the effect, that you have centers of development, so that, for instance, the zones, even though they have not been constitutionalized, that Ekwemes, group led, and we have, 6 regions, 6 centers in Nigeria, political centers, political, regions, could be used as basis, to federalize. In which case, it doesn't prevent, these states that are from these regions from surviving. When you allow each region to develop at its own pace, taking into consideration issues that border on religion, diversity, and such, other things. But because, Nigeria is interested in centralization, so it doesn't allow room for maneuverability. It doesn't allow room for creativity. It doesn't allow room for efficiency. And so part of, the political struggle insisting that Nigeria, should, be allowed to operate from the various, zones. Matters like this grid situation that keeps collapsing every day and putting the entire nation, putting industries, the few ones that are available, inefficient and ineffective. And so the whole thing borders, on the question, of the structure, of Nigeria. For those who think that the structure is not important, they will be joking, because it is the structure that is the foundational basis, of any arrangement. Even human beings, if somebody doesn't have a structure that is correctly fixed, you will then realize that that person won't be able, to work. And so structure, is important. And I think that, if a country is allowed, to decentralize issues, of this great question that we are confronted with, will be resolved to a manageable level.
All right. So, Nigeria's power installed capacity currently is about 12,500 megawatts, but actual generation averages around 4,000 to 5,000 megawatts. A lot of issues have come up, and one of the issues is that the power generated are not being taken up by the discos. I'm sure you've heard that before. A lot of them claim that they can't sell some of the energy that is being channeled to them. So, but we are told that almost half of Nigeria is in darkness. So how do we reconcile all this? The discos don't want to take on extra power because they are fearing that they cannot really make money out of it. So what do we do about the situation? Installed capacity and actual generation, and then actual generation currently versus the quantity that can be sold by the discos. So isn't that a very complicated situation?
It is complicated because even if you look at how the discos emerged, how did the discos, the Jonathan administration, decided to unbundle the former NEPA, giving vent, to the coming into being of the discos. One of the things, that you realize is that these operators of these discos don't have enough resources. All they thought, they were going to do, they thought if Jonathan administration, after the unbundling and gave them, discos in various, parts of the country, that they were going to make, money. Because it is part of the regulation conundrum. And so when, they were given licenses to operate, they realized, that you need to invest a lot of money, because if you want to make profit, you need to invest a lot of money. But the operators of these discos didn't want to put in money, and even started paying huge amounts of money, to its workers, even when the thing had not taken off, properly. So the discos are interested in making money, but they are not interested, ensuring that these things, work. Things have to work. You have to invest a lot of money before you begin, to reap the fruit.
All right. It looks like we're having a challenge with Professor Owasomba's connection, but I would also want to find out from him how insufficient infrastructure and aging power plants, transmission lines, and distribution networks have affected the efficiency of Nigeria's electricity power sector. And a great deal of things to discuss here. But one of the key issues here is that the power grid keeps collapsing. And from what we are hearing, it looks like it won't stop. It will keep happening over a period of time, because they're saying it won't be solved in 2 months. It won't be solved even in 1 year. So a lot of scary stuff coming out from the Ministry of Power. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll hopefully sort out Professor Owasomba's connection and, of course, continue our conversation on Nigeria's power sector and the dilemma of a single grid system. Stay with us.
Welcome to Apia TV, your go-to channel for excellent news and incredible shows that keeps you IEI, that is, informed, entertained, and inspired. Need a break?
Ladies and germs, welcome to Lunch Break on Apia TV.
Join Choco to vibe and chill on Lunch Break at 2 p.m. for the latest trends in music and entertainment.
Not like I have big money.
Dive into the world of innovation and creativity with Rochelle on Unka.
It means art in English,
where creative minds and groundbreaking ideas come to life Tune in every weekday at 8 p.m. Do not miss Afia TV Official, your perfect dose of laughter, where they discuss what is currently trending on social media every day at 5:30 p.m. on Afia TV.
But in this economy, the savings will save you, man.
And that's not all. Stay tuned for more exciting shows on Afia TV. Catch us on DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17.
From the commercial nerve center of the southeastern Nigeria, the Abia State Government and Aba Chamber of Commerce, Industries, Mines and Agriculture, ASIMA, invite manufacturers, investors, trade unions, captains of industries, and the general public to the 2024 Aba International Trade Fair Summit and Exhibition. Take advantage of these opportunities to showcase your business to the rest of the world. Improve your sales and brand visibility. Date 28 November to 7th December 2024. Venue Aba Mega Mall along Aba Umaya Expressway, Osisioma, Abia State. This message is endorsed by the Abia State Government and Aba Chamber of Commerce, Industries, Mines and Agriculture, ASIMA. For partnership, sponsorship and participation enquiries, visit www.abainternationaltradefair.com, on Facebook at Aba International Trade Fair, on X Aba International Trade Fair, or call Marcus on 0806 605 4420 or Sam on 0802 826 9391. Aba International Trade Fair. Be a part of it.
You're looking to grow your business? At Afia TV, we've got just what you need. With our various on-screen advertising options like squeeze bags, lower third, sidebars, right in front of your audience. With our lower third, your brand messages appear during the most viewed programs on TV, allowing your audience to see your message without interrupting their TV experience. Now, if you want to go big, our squeeze bag is ideal because it puts your brand messages on spotlight without interrupting viewers' experience. With our sidebars, your brand messages also takes the spotlight on our screen, ensuring brand exposure. These advertising options are affordable, effective, and designed to drive results. Get started today and watch your business shoot up. For more inquiries, call the numbers on your screen.
And another opportunity for us to gist and me to tell you, bring all the spice, all the things that are hot, trending, and exclusive on social media. Sometimes I know there's constructive criticism. I know that you know how to quote it. So for the people that don't understand, I want to be like, oh, why are you doing this?
Please, I'm not a cross-dresser. I'm only doing this because of the money on Facebook.
There are some people you need to just tell the truth brutally. Let it hurt them. Give it hot.
Afia TV Official, exclusive every weekday on Afia TV.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV.
So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
You've often wondered, what does it mean to be Igbo in today's Nigeria? You know, what's the intersections, what are the conversations we're having about our Igbo spirituality, culture, An example is people wearing red cap. You know, everybody wears red cap. Are they entitled to wear it? What does Nzen also mean? What does Igbo spirituality mean? How have we changed as a society over the last 20, 30, 50, 100 years? Every Thursday, 6 p.m., if you want to know more on libations, as I have a conversation with different people from all walks of life who common thread is being Igbo, or doing business with the Igbo, or living in Igbo land. What does it mean to be Igbo in today's Nigeria? Cheers. And, oh, I need to do this. Let me pour to our ancestors.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owner, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and...
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
Welcome to Afia TV, your go-to channel for excellent news and incredible shows that keeps you IEI, that is, informed, entertained, and inspired. Need a break?
Ladies and germs, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV.
Join Choco to vibe and chill on lunch break at 2 p.m. for the latest trends in music and entertainment.
Not like I have big money.
Dive into the world of innovation and creativity with Rochelle on Unka.
It means art in English.
Where creative minds and groundbreaking ideas come to life. Tune in every weekday at 8 p.m. Do not miss Afia TV Official, your perfect dose of laughter, where they discuss what is currently trending on social media every day at 5:30 p.m. on Afia TV.
But in this economy, the savings will save you, man.
And that's not all. Stay tuned for more exciting shows on Afia TV. Catch us on DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did single.
For real.
You're not a backup singer.
I'm saying
Hey ladies, join us on Gyna Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breastfeeding. The frequency of breastfeeding means the
Approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Opinion of the people matters.
Everything to your leg.
Oh, nobody wants to hear your voice if you don't have the money.
This is Obwe.
week and another opportunity for us to gist and me to tell you, bring all the spice, all the things that are hot, trending and exclusive on social media. Sometimes I know there's constructive criticism. I know that you know how to quote it. So for the people that don't understand, I want to be like, oh, why are you doing this?
Please, I'm not a cross-dresser. I'm only doing this because of the money on Facebook.
There are some people you need to just tell the truth brutally. Let it hurt them. Give it hot.
Afia TV official, exclusive every weekday on Afia TV.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV.
So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Welcome back to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV. It's a program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around you. My name is Alex Obodo, and Professor Chijoko Wasamba has kindly rejoined us now. And I was just about to ask him how Nigeria can surmount the challenge of just the quantum of insufficient and in many cases dilapidated, outdated, and infrastructure that are currently on offer, and aging power plants, transmission lines, and distribution networks that require upgrade, that we are not seeing any upgrade on as we speak. There isn't any upgrade. And I'm not sure there is a clear plan for that upgrade to happen in the next 6 months. It looks like there's a lot of soundbite without a lot of work or activity going on.
Yes, of course, as I was saying before, is that the country is not managed well. There is no level of sincerity as far as, those who govern Nigeria are concerned. Those who govern Nigeria are only interested, in what they can make from Nigeria. Because, yes, the facilities are old. These facilities are facilities inherited from the former, Nigerian electricity authorities, before it became NEPA. So the facilities are old, and the situation requires governance sincerity. It requires, people who are interested in ensuring that we have energy sufficiency. Because the country, can't take off without energy. So electricity is important for us to make it as a people and join the league, of developed, nations. So these facilities they need to be audited, sincere auditing of these facilities with a view to finding out, what to do. So there are things that cannot be solved in the next, 6 months. Even with the most, sincere attention given to them. And so government will need to audit these facilities, and ensure that this question of everyday collapse of the grid becomes something that Nigeria is not going to witness again. But it goes back, to the question that I had earlier on raised. And that question, still bubbling up. That question is about centralization, that you need to decentralize every structure of Nigeria, including the electricity project so that Nigeria can work, and deliver the mission and vision, of the founding fathers.
And then the major challenge is, if you want to decentralize the Nigeria's grid system, how many areas of Nigeria have power plants of their own? Lagos is just calling for bids for people that can come and build gas-powered power plants. I think they're talking about 5,000 megawatts power plant. If Lagos is just now, in 2024, asking for people to come and build a power plant, the most populous state in the country, one of the largest economies on the continent, and they are just in 2024 asking for bids for people who can come and use gas to generate electricity. And well, some other states are a bit on the lucky side. Other states in some areas have a power plant built there. And is this an indication that, well, something nice can happen? But how fast should those nice things happen?
Something can happen depending, on the people who are in charge. Yes, you have talked about Lagos, building power plants and many other, places. And of course, there are places that don't have gas, okay? And there is a current attempt to run, pipes from the southern part of Nigeria, up to Kaduna, Kano, So, and you realize that in the northern part of the country, there is sun. So why can't our policymakers also think of, ensuring that electricity could be generated, from that could be solar. Must it be, gas for such, zones? And it tallies with my position that when there is some level of restructuring, then you then realize that, that each zone, will be able to use the resources that are available to them to be able to key in to power generation. But in the interim, I think that, government will need to act fast, to ensure that whether it is sabotage, or the collapse of the facilities because they are old, and whatever it is called, I think that, it requires some level of urgency.
All right. I mean, that's just where there's a problem, that urgency. But I'm seeing that...
where...
Okay.
Okay, I'm listening.
You for a moment. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So since it is urgent, and I think that what the government will need to do, is to be able to fix whatever the problem is, at that grid level. But subsequently, you will need, the kind of suggestion that you are making, that it takes, some time. We must not depend on gas. It is true that Nigeria is a gas, it's more of a gas country than crude. And I think, that what we need to do, what the government will need to do, is to be able, to fix this matter, whatever it is fixable, and then the suggestions, that you are making will be things that can take some time, before they are brought on board.
So now, a lot of people believe there's a lot of politics around power. And do you think the Nigerian government has actually paid attention to power as a national security problem, other than just something they can generate money from by tampering with the rates and I think they call it bands now. They say band A, band B, electricity tariff, that's the word. They keep tweaking the tariff and it's going up. Isn't electricity generation, transmission and distribution in Nigeria a national security issue? If the grid can collapse many times in 1 month, don't you think it has security implications for the country?
Yes, it has security implications, for the country. The philosophy of a government, determines the operations of that government. The philosophy of this government, is is on deregulation. Government shouldn't have anything to do with business. Government has no business in business. But those in government are doing business, taking money, humongous, amounts of money as what, belongs, to them at the end of every month, and many other, ways through which those in government make money. So the philosophy of a government determines, and countries like Nigeria that are backward, that are developing, okay, require a lot of involvement of government with policies that could build, the country. And as I said earlier on, these problems are foundational. So you can't deregulate your economy when you have not started, when you have not taken off. You want to be like America, It took America a lot of years, a lot of time, to get to where, it is in its oppression, of capitalism. Even as the behemoth of capitalism, America tries as much as possible, to do things that will benefit, the people, even in spite of the fact that profiteering, is the basis of its economic mode of production. So it goes back to the question, of the philosophy that undergirds what they do here, in government. Government, and its agents, its cronies are only interested in fleecing the people and toying, with the prices of electricity and other commodities, in the name of right pricing, without caring about the nature of these facilities, the fact that they are old, and attempts, to renew them for proper efficiency. So it boils down to the philosophy, of the government, in power.
I mean, we can't conveniently talk about Nigeria's power sector without mentioning the oil and gas industry, because it looks like that's the backbone of the power sector. You either use gas, or you use diesel, or you use petrol to power whatever it is you're powering. I mean, if you are not going to renewable energy, that's what you would do. So number one is gas, number two is the AGO, and of course you have PMS. So, but number one there is gas. We have enough gas, but we can't smell it. By that I mean, technically speaking, it's not producing electricity for us.
It's not because, the whole thing about the oil and gas industry in Nigeria is shrouded in opaqueness, it's shrouded in secrecy, and if you have a government that is interested, a government that is transparent and open, that government will first and foremost ensure, that that aspect of the Nigerian economy, is looked at, and ensure, that efficiency becomes the order of the day. You remember, and I'm sure you know, that the president of the country is in charge, of petroleum resources. And so who shall we be talking to? Who shall we be asking, to intervene in that area? Is same, president of the country who, is the Minister of Petroleum, Resources. So the opaqueness of the operations of the oil and gas industry in Nigeria is such, that you can't get that kind of dividend, that you have just talked, about, because everything, is done in opaqueness, with the occasional corruption, that you find in that subsector of the Nigerian economy.
So typically now, are we left for our fate and then hope that the national grid will not collapse 30 times in the next 2 months?
We're not going to do that. Part of the engagement, you are doing it, and there are many other media houses, advocacy groups that are interested and campaigning, that something must be done. There are many editorials, calling on the government to do what it ought to do. So you have started the process by these engagements, that you are into, and getting people to talk about these problems and ensure and insist and nudge, the government to do the right thing and ensure that our country works. Because it is shameful, that in the 21st century, our electricity is not working, and we are experiencing, breakdown of the grid every now and then. And this is what happens everywhere in all parts of the country. So it's not just only in one particular place that it takes place. It affects the entirety of Nigeria, and it's shameful that such a thing is happening. But with engagements, advocacies that people like you are doing and engaging, the government must be made to realize that there is need, for it to ensure that there is efficiency, in that sector of Nigerian economy, because it's important, because it affects, all parts of Nigeria's life.
All right. I just wanted to want one last question, and that will be: do you think that there is a capacity for Nigeria to move fast in upscaling its electricity infrastructure? From what you are seeing currently, do you see enough will?
Nigeria has the capacity. I think that what you can then ask is whether Nigeria has the will. Nigeria has the capacity. Nigeria has the capacity to go to the moon. Nigeria has the capacity to be involved in part of the development that is taking place in other parts of the world. Remember, that even the question of palm oil, that there was a country that came to Nigeria to take our palm oil, and that today, Nigeria is importing palm oil from that country. Nigeria has the capacity to do, because we are endowed with a lot of resources. We're endowed with the human resources and material resources. The problem with Nigeria is that will is not there, because that will usually must be generated by the leadership, because leadership is key. Leadership is everything, and I think that we must make the leadership to work. We must make the leadership to have that will to ensure that Nigeria is functional, including its electricity, oil and gas, and other aspects of Nigerian life.
And that's a good place to leave it. Very many thanks for talking to us tonight, Professor Chijioke Owasamba. He's a scholar and a public policy analyst. Thank you so much for your perspectives on the Eastern.
Thank you.